Do you find yourself getting into fights and arguments with colleagues? Do you find yourself arguing with your boss? Not getting on with your missus or your mister? Do you find yourself getting into confrontations with people, a lot of friction, deals that are almost going to close, but they don't quite make it? Do you find yourself getting close to getting something, but then somebody pulls out last minute, or you say the wrong thing and it's a bit like, frick, right? Or maybe you just don't get people that well. And it's like, why are they acting in that way? Like, I would never do that. Why are they doing that? Right? If any of these fit how you are moving right now, if any of these scenarios resonate with you, we are going to look into this. We're going to go deep and try and figure out why that is, why relationships are so important, and how to make you win throughout 2025 and the rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, we're in a game. And if you understand the players of the game, then you will win the game, okay, of life. So, my name is Pierre Yamfam. That is the best way I've ever introduced myself on this channel. Normally, I'm like, my name's Pierre Yamfam. My name's Pierre Yamfam. No, my name is Pierre Yamfam. This is Get Out of Your Way. And let's figure this one out together. Oh my God. We made it. Day 8. Success principle 8. Everything is aligned. 8, 9, 10. Oh my God. We're going to be heading over to the squats today. Leg day. Do you do leg day? Or do you miss leg day? Do you not miss leg day? Success principle number 8. Okay. The squat machine is a little bit noisy. So we're going to have to do one-handed microphones for today. But success principle number 8 is absolutely phenomenal, because today we're going to be speaking about a very interesting concept. 2 seconds, let me get this bar on my back. Okay, one hand vibe. Today, we're going to be speaking about a very interesting concept, which is success principle number 8. Successful people know how to fail. I'll say that again. Successful people know how to fail. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that when things go wrong in successful people's lives, they handle it in a very different way compared to how unsuccessful people handle it. And what I mean by that exactly is, when things go wrong in successful people's lives, they look for very specific things in the situation that they're in. Number 1, they take full responsibility for the situation. And they say, okay, if this went wrong, it's my fault. How can I fix it? How can I put it right? That's the mindset of a successful person in the midst of failure, right? Now, number 2, when things go wrong, successful people with immense speed, they look to see how they can put it right. They don't sit there and say, oh, the house is on fire, the house is on fire, and they're going around telling everyone that the house is on fire. That's not what they do. What they do is they recognize that the house is on fire, and they set about doing something about it as quickly as possible. That's what they do. Yeah? That's number 2. So number 1, they take full responsibility. Number 2, with immense speed, they begin trying to put about the solution. And the third thing, not necessarily the final thing, but the third thing that successful people are very good at when things go wrong is that they're able to keep their cool, they're able to keep their head, they're able to keep the vision in mind, and they're able to understand that this moment shall pass. This moment shall pass means the issue has come. We're focusing on the solution. Pain is temporary. This issue is temporary. That's what they're able to focus on, right? So, set number 3. Let's do this. Let's freaking do this. My legs are gonna start burning, but I got this. So, these are the things that successful people focus on. Number 1, they take full responsibility. Number 2, they move from the issue, the house is burning, to the solution. Throwing water in the house, getting a fire extinguisher. They move through those stages very quickly because they do not have time to waste. And number 3, they keep their end vision in mind, right? They don't lose sight of what they're doing. And that makes it easier for them to shift to solution mode because what they're fighting for is way more important. Okay? And I will catch you guys in part 3, the breakdown. Yes, success principle day 8. Success principle 8. We are aligned. It is looking good. So learn how to fail. I am not going to go over this again in too much detail. I just know that it is a game-changing success principle for 2025 and any year. It is a game-changing principle. Why? Because failure is inevitable. I'm going to fail. You're going to fail. He's going to fail. She's going to fail. That we're all failing up in here. Okay. And if you learn how to fail, if you identify what the problem is super quickly and look for the solution, if you know that everything happens in your favor, if you're focused on the end vision, right? And it's like that thing is so important. This is just a little hiccup, a little hurdle in the process. If you can really get to grips with these principles of how to fail, you will again be untouchable, be super confident. Things will happen in your life and it will just be like, they say duck off a water's back, right? No, water off a duck's back. Man said duck off a water's back. Jesus, water off a duck's back is what they say. That's a saying, right? And it will be just like that for you. Okay, so learn how to fail, banging. Now, we are in part 3, the breakdown. Earlier on, we asked, do you have friction with your colleagues? Is your boss a dick? Probably is, but are you having problems with your boss, right? Are you arguing with friends and family? Do you have strained relationships? Do people do things that piss you the frick off, right? They do things and you're like, why would you do that? That is not even logical, or that is not even, I would never do that. Why did you do that? And there's arguments and friction and battles, right? We're going to break this down today in the breakdown. But first and foremost, let's talk about how important relationships are on this earth, okay? Now, when it comes to success, I'm putting together a few different frameworks for you to follow, and I'm going to be putting them together and publishing them, which are my own, everything that I've learned and my own success principles, my core pillars, the meaning of life. I'm going to be putting together different frameworks, right? Based on everything that I've learned from all the greatest people that I've learned from, all my greatest mentors. None of it is my own. It is all from them. I'm just packaging it in a way that hopefully will resonate with you guys more, right? So one of the frameworks I'm putting together is the success triad. A success triad, or in my case, my success triad, is what are the 3 things that if you had these 3 things in place, you are guaranteed success. 3 things. That's what I'm working on right now. So in the success triad, so far, I've condensed it down. I've filtered it down to 2 core principles so far. The first one is purpose. We're not going to get into that right now in this video, but you've seen it before in previous videos, how crucial purpose is. Successful people have a purpose. Sometimes it's from a dark place, like coming from pain, jealousy, trauma, and it's like, I need to be successful as a result of that when you dig deep. And then sometimes, and the better times, it's about actually coming from a great place, which is I want to help people. I want to, coming from a place of more positive emotions. But the fact is that purpose is number one. Not necessarily number one in the triad, like in terms of importance, but it's just one of the corners of the triad. Okay, triad meaning three, triangle. Okay, now the second pillar in the triad is relationships. Relationships, which we're going to get into now, is such a core facet of success. Without this concept, without understanding this and learning how to build strong relationships, you can only get so far by yourself. Okay? So relationships is the second corner of the triad. Now, for the third one, I'm going to leave that for now because I'm still working. I'm still playing between a few different concepts for the third one. I need one that's universal. I need one that's going to hit the mark and complement the other two. And I need one that is truly, genuinely, do some more research and really, really figure out what that third one is. I'm working on that now. Okay. So I'll come back to you on that third piece. But once this triad is locked in, it will guarantee success. And that's what I'm going to be publishing to you guys so you guys can have it, use it, and generate your own success in your own life. Okay. So let's get into relationships. How important are relationships in success? Now, this is coming from a guy. I started my entrepreneurship journey like a hermit, right? When I say hermit, I'm talking, my business partner would bring clients. I would never even go out and get clients, maybe like one a year, maybe two a year max, right? But my business partner is the complete opposite of me. And that's what made us so good for so long. She's incredible at networking. She has that suave, that way with people. Like she could talk, communicate, be very interested in people. And she would be incredible, absolutely incredible at winning clients for the business. Okay. So she'd win a client. She'd bring them to our first meeting. I'm sort of like the tech guy in the background, the strategy guy in the background with my laptop, like Batman in my bat cave, right? But the meeting would be good because she would bring the personable traits and I would bring all the technical language to the meeting. And together we were on fire. That was our relationship. Now, when it comes to how I perceived relationships, it was more like, I'll let my business partner deal with that. I'm going to focus on honing in my skill sets, crafting my skill sets, sharpening my tools. That's what I'm going to focus on. And that's what I did. Sorry, I just realized I've been looking at myself again, not the camera. I'm so sorry. But that's what I realized I was doing, right? I realized I was actually focusing on my skill sets, my craft, building the team in the background, all the strategy, working out all the dynamics of the projects, the websites, the apps we were building, the social media strategies, the designs, the branding, all that stuff I was doing by myself with the team, sort of in my own place. No contact, very little contact with people. So this is coming from someone who, for the first 4 years, for the first 3 years of my 8-9 year career in business, for the first 3 years, I significantly, drastically, horridly underestimated what relationships are and how important they are to success. Completely neglected this concept. So this is coming from someone who's made the transition to understanding how important relationships are, okay? So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, as you guys know, I was in London, right, in Moorgate. Now, I met this incredible team of people. They're a brokerage company, access to liquidity capital, access to major banks, the biggest banks in the world. And we're going to be partnering with them and releasing some products. It's all looking extremely juicy for 2025, right? Things are looking very good. And when I'm in the meeting with them, the founder turns around to me and goes, I asked them, right, how did you gain access to these liquidity banks? How did you gain access? Like, how did you create that connection? The founder literally turns around to me and says, just relationships. I just knew this person, that person knew that person introduced me. We shook hands, we spoke business, and that was it. So I said to him, so if you didn't know X, then you wouldn't have got to Y? He was like, no, there's no way. Because in the finance game, in the world of finance, who you know is like gold, right? Your network is your net worth truly in finance. If you don't have a network of people, specifically in finance, if you don't have a network of people that can open doors for you, give you access, maneuver things, get things done, which is what happens in the finance world. We're talking big finance here. You're screwed. You're not going very far, right? And he was honest about it. He said, I knew this person, that person knew that person introduced me, and boom, I met this person, shook hands, spoke business, done the deal, it was there, done. I was like, okay, so do you know what I mean? And we've been conditioned almost to think that it's only through a certain type of hard work, i.e. 9 to 5 or whatever bullcrap like sort of thing. It's like we've been conditioned to think that only through that way is how you gain opportunities in life. That is not correct. The elite people get more done with less energy because they leverage relationships. I'll say that again. Elite people get more done with less energy because they leverage their relationships. They make connections. They cherish and nurture relationships. And as a result, when they need something to get done, when they need to maneuver in this game of chess that we're playing, they've got pieces in different places that they can use and maneuver. Okay, that's why elite people get way more done than unsuccessful people. They get way more done with so much little energy, and they're still looking all pretty and fresh. Right? That's what they do. They leverage relationships. So that's how important relationships are. And I had to learn that the hard way because I didn't have any relationships. I didn't build any relationships for the first part of my career. I was just like a hermit, like a Batman in a Batcave doing my thing. Now I'm leveraging relationships. Okay. So this is how important relationships are to success. Super, super crucial. Okay. Now, when it comes to how to build relationships and when it comes to understanding people, this is what we're going to get into now. Okay. Being able to create relationships, you need to be able to understand people. And to understand people, we need to understand the nature of them, how they operate, how they tick. Most importantly, we need to understand how they perceive the world. This is crucial. How do others perceive the world? And again, I will tell you a crucial story that happened in my life with my business partner, right? So, and this is what I mean by understanding how they perceive the world. So, with my business partner, we were working on personal growth and loads of aspects of personal growth. And sometimes I would ask her to do certain things, or only things that I was doing, right? So like waking up early, doing ice shower, working out, all the stuff that I was doing, basically, I was asking her to do the same thing because, we're a team. We need to be the best versions of ourselves. So when we come to the business, we can give the best version of ourselves and we can grow and build the team around us and do awesome stuff. So if I'm showing up in this way, you should be showing up in this way so that we're a team, so that we're matched with our energies, right? And it felt like no matter how hard I was trying to really help and support her, it was almost like I was more pushing her away rather than influencing her to see what I'm saying is the right way to do things and also to actually execute in that way. It was like I was more pushing her away rather than bringing her closer and closer to getting these things done. And for the longest time, for the first year, 2 years of our relationship, we were together for 4 years in total. For the first year, 2 years, I was like, am I going crazy? Like, I'm not asking her to smoke drugs or go gambling or do madness. I'm not asking her to do anything crazy. I'm actually giving her basic principles of success, like what successful people do. I'm doing it on a daily basis. You're also a co-founder in our company. You're at the top of the company, right? You're at the head, just like me. You should be doing it as well, setting an example for everyone else. And we should be on the same level sort of pushing each other and being in that sort of team dynamic environment. That's what I'm looking for. Am I asking for the wrong thing? Am I trying to get us to perform in the wrong way? It got to a point where it was so hard to get us to align on how we conduct ourselves when it comes to personal growth. It took us such a long time to align that I was like, maybe I'm doing it wrong, right? Maybe I'm getting it wrong. And then she would make a comment to me. She would say things to me like sometimes, Pierre, what you're saying is right. I just don't want to hear it from you. I was like, oh, heartbreak. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, what do you mean by that? And I could never understand what she meant. And she would say things like, Pierre, you're right, but I don't like your approach. I was like, this woman approach. Like, we'll get into my childhood, obviously another time. But when it comes to approach, I grew up in quite an abusive and quite a intense, um, quite a strict environment, right? So like I got beaten quite a lot. Like I've seen approach in a certain way, shouting, swearing, beating. That's how I grew up in that environment. And so when she said approach, like I don't swear at all. I don't say the F word and I don't say the S word. I quit that in 2010, right? As one of my New Year's resolutions when I was younger. So I don't swear. I don't like shout, raise my voice like that at all. She's a woman as well, so I've got that respect for her nature as well. So I'm like, what do you mean by approach? Like I'm like one of the nicest guys I know. Like, what do you mean approach? Like, let's get into this, right? So I didn't know what was going on until one of our uncles, because my business partner was also my cousin as well. So we went to a family event one day, and one of our uncles gave us this book. The book was called Influencer Incorporated. I'll put the link in the description, right? Influencer Incorporated. How to, I think the subtitle is like how to influence people rather than control them or something like that. Or how to win people through influence, something like that. When I saw this book, I was like, God, universe, you have blessed me today. This is the book that I needed. And our uncle will, whenever we meet, like sort of once a year, twice a year sort of thing, our uncle would always bring us books, these sorts of personal growth books, because he's into his personal growth. When I saw this book now, I was like, universe, like, I hear you. I'm going to act upon this immediately. Do you know what I mean? So I picked up the book. And we always get to choose which one we want to read. So I picked that one. I think Deanna, I think my business partner picked what was it called? It was called Chimp. I think Chimp Paradox. So my business partner picked Chimp Paradox. I picked Influence Incorporated, and I also picked I Can Make You Rich by Paul McKenna. Yeah, I also picked that one as well. And I can't remember the other one that she picked, but we both had 2 books each. I open up this book, Influence Incorporated. When I tell you, that became my favorite book immediately. I was absolutely blown away. And the reason why I was blown away is because Influence Incorporated is all about understanding people in order to be able to influence them for your own goals and visions. You can understand people, understand how they operate, and once you understand how they operate and understand their patterns, you can then suggest things in a certain way which gets them to actually understand what you're saying in the way that they see the world. I was baffled, bro. I was baffled. And the reason why I was baffled is because when my business partner said to me that, Pierre, your approach, I don't like your approach, not only have I felt like a very strict, abusive level of approach growing up, so I know what bad approach is, or at least I think I thought I knew what bad approach was. Not only that, but I said to her, I have the knowledge. I am the one with the knowledge in my head, right? I'm trying to pass you that knowledge. I'm trying to hand that knowledge to you so that we can operate to the highest level. Not as a student, because I see her as my equal, right? But in terms of personal growth, sort of as the person absorbing that information, as the sort of student position, who are you to dictate how you receive the information. That was my logic at the time. I was like, who are you to dictate how I'm doing my best to give you this information as much as I can so we can keep moving forward, speed, efficiency, all that stuff. And I couldn't understand why she was asking for it to be delivered in a certain way. Like for me, that's like a luxury, right? Probably again because of the way I was brought up with so much abuse and all the issues, like trauma I had. It's like I got given the knowledge in the way that my dad gave the knowledge, and I absorbed it and I kept it moving, right? But I've now got my business partner asking me to deliver the knowledge in a way that of her preference. At the time, I was like, we're becoming soft people. Like this is soft. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you want it in a certain way? Here is the knowledge. I'm not shouting at you. I'm not swearing at you. I'm not abusing you in any way. I'm really motivated, telling you what I think we should do next, telling you the next moves we should make with personal growth, all this stuff. And we're not moving together. We're not harmonizing with it. Something's off. And I'm hearing about preference. At the time, I was shocked. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. However, when I read this book, please download and read this book, Influencer Incorporated. It is a game changer. It will show you how to understand and influence people in a positive way to get them to the end goal, to get them to the goal where, which is beneficial for everyone, mutually beneficial for everyone. It will show you how to do that. Promise, hands down. This is what I use now. I've been using it for like 3 years. 3-4 years been using it now. So in Influencer Incorporated, it actually breaks down these 4 character types. Okay. And this model is very well known. I think it's Myers-Briggs. Let me just, I think it's Myers-Briggs. Let me find out. Oh no, it was first proposed by William Marston. Yes, that was it. And I don't know if Myers-Briggs took over it or did something different with it. But anyway, the founder was William Marston, who came up with this initial DISC theory, right? These 4 character types. The acronym is DISC, D, I, S, and C. Okay. Now, these 4 character types, obviously, we like to put people into, boxes, and sometimes we like to put people into categories, right? Because it helps us to understand actually how people operate. And so, what we have here is we have these 4 character types, D, I, S, and C. Okay. So the D stands for dominant. Okay. So D is for dominant. These guys are your go-getters, right? Your go-getters, normally your leaders, the boisterous ones, the loudest ones in the room. These D types are the dominant ones. They dominate the space. They're goal setters. They're high achievers. They go, 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 go. If you give them a problem, they're rushing in to find a solution, and they're going to do it probably without asking everyone else what do they think, right? These are the D types. Go, 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 go getters, really, really focused on outcomes, goals, and achieving. These are D types. Then you've got the I types. The I type stands for influence. This is your social group of people. These guys are sociable. They like going out. They love telling stories and hearing stories. They love building networks. Very good networkers. Very good at making friends and keeping friends. Making friends and keeping friends. They are very, very good at that. And the influencer type is more laid back, more chill, more go with the flow, right? Still a go-getter, still in that top half. So the D and the I, they're still in that top half, fast-paced, go with the flow, get things done in that respect. They're still like that, right? But then we have, and that's the I type. Then we have the S type. Now, my business partner was an S type, okay? So the S types are the emotional group, right? These guys are their emotional intelligence is so freaking high, it is scary. Like, they'll come into a room and they'll read the room brilliantly. They know how this person's feeling. They're very good listeners. They are the best listeners out of the quadrant. And the S type is, very emotional, very in touch with their emotions, able to read other people's emotions, empathize, Empathy is a key word for the S types. They are very good at empathizing with the other character types and their own character type. Anyone, they're very good at empathizing, understanding situations, pausing, giving space for people to talk, absorbing information, understanding the full picture before they take action, right? These are the S types. Then you have the C types. That's my type. I'm a C type. I'm a C type, little bit D type. And by the way, it's all a spectrum, right? So I've got a percentage of all four types, and you can take a test. I'll put it in the description below. You can take a test, but we all have different levels of each character. So I'm very high C. I am like practically all C type. Then you've got then D type. I'm like 20%, 30% D type. Then I type, I'm like no I type. I've got like literally no I type in me. Probably the reason why I didn't really value relationships and connecting with people and having friends. I didn't really value that for the longest time before, right? Now I do. And then you've got the S type. I've got a little bit more. No. I've got like similar I type and S type is like really low for me, right? D type is like 30%, and then my C type is super super high. Okay, so now, yes, then we have the C type. So for the C type, we are the logical group, right? The rational personality type. We focus on structure, organization, logic, understanding, asking the question why. Why did you do this? How does this equal this? Everything with us is very black and white. It's either this or it's that. This is here, that's there. We're doing this or we're doing that. Things we don't like change. Like I hate when sometimes I'm in co-working spaces. Even our office in Canary Wharf with Finders Force is a co-working space, and I like to wake up when I come to the office in the mornings. I like to go directly to the same desk every single time. If someone is sitting at my desk that I normally use, it gets me a little bit. I'm fine. Obviously, I'm an elite individual, right? So I just flow with it, go to the other desk. But it normally gets me a little bit. So I'm like, all the other desks in the bloody building, you had to sit at my desk. This is my, not joking. So we don't like change, right? We like things to be consistent. For example, my cereal in the morning, I eat the same cereal every morning for the past 3 years. I mix in terms of I have like 3 cereals or 4 cereals, but I've kept those 3, 4 cereals every single day for the past 3, 4, 5 years. No word of a lie, right? That's my strawberry granola, my chocolate granola, my my porridge, and my oats, and my uh and my crave. I like my chocolate crave or craze, whatever it's called. This is my cereal, right? In the mornings, and I got my my fruit and my breads and my fruits, and my brain smoothie, right? So these are the things that I have in the morning, every single morning. No need to change, right? So that's how we see the world. We see the world in that respect. Now, all 4 character types see the world in their own way. All 4 character types see the world through their own lenses, okay? And this is why it's super important to actually understand the 4 different personality types. The reason why you need to understand the 4 personality types is because, and this is what I got so wrong with my business partner. I got it wrong. I was wrong. I was the idiot. It's so peak, like knowing how wrong you were, being so wrong for so many years, and then putting it right, and then looking back and saying, damn, if I knew this back then, it'd be a game changer. That's how important this is. The value that I'm sharing to you guys right now is super, super important. So I then, through this DISC model that I learned in Influence Incorporated, I then began to understand that actually, hold on, we need to, when we're speaking with people, when we're building relationships, we need to put ourselves in the other person's shoes, work out and find out how they see the world, and then communicate to them in the way that they see the world. That is how you influence. I'll say that again. When you are building relationships and influencing people, getting them to do something that you want, you need to put yourself in their shoes, understand their personality type, understand therefore then how they see the world, and then speak to them in their language, in their preference, speak to them in their perspective, from their perspective, and they will understand and get you. It is scary how much they will understand and get you and move in the direction that you want them to move. That's what I found out. And when I read that book, I almost cried. I swear to God, I got emotional. I almost cried because I was like, I was so wrong, and my wrongness created so much friction and unnecessary pain in my relationship with my business partner that I wish I had that book 2, 3, 4 years ago. It'd be a completely different story, right? And so this is the importance of the personality types and how they operate. This is how you build the relationships, and this is how you influence people. So let's break down very quickly how to win the game of life with this model. I'll give you an example. When I found this out, I used it, obviously began using it immediately, no time to waste. So with my business partner, I started to analyze how I spoke to her. By the way, now you know these 4 character types. Listen to my own language. As a C type, remember we're logic, rationality, O's and ones, code, numbers, black and white, all this stuff. So notice my language when I speak now. You'll start to pick up different words. For example, I said, I began to analyze how I spoke to my business partner. Really, only C types are going to be the ones speaking in that way. I began to analyze because we see everything as data, right? You may have a D type, the go-getters. They may say something more like, I started to really, or an S type will say, for example, I started to really feel and listen to how I communicate with my business partner. That's how they'll speak, right? A D type go-getter, they may be like, I started to break down, right? Because they're all about goals. So the D types would be like, I started to break down how I spoke to my business partner, DC. And then the I types, they may say something like, I started to listen because they love stories, listening to stories and telling stories. So they could be like, I started to listen and really, really see how I was speaking and communicating with my business partner. Do you see? So C types, we're like, I started to analyze things. D types, I started to break things down. S types, I started to feel and really listen to, how my business partner was speaking, blah, blah, blah. And then I types also, I started to listen. I started to really understand how, right? These are the characters. You'll start to see when you speak to people, you'll become very, very good at picking up what someone's dominant personality type is within seconds of meeting someone. So me, within 5 to 10 seconds of meeting someone new, I've already categorized you in your box of who you are. You are either a D type, an I type, an S type, or a C type in terms of your dominant trait. And I'm immediately planting seeds and speaking to you in a certain way because I know your character type. So I know that in order to build this relationship and influence you in the direction that I want to influence you, I'm going to speak in a certain way that resonates with you immediately within 15 seconds. That's how good I am at it now, right? And you'll get there as well if you study it and take it seriously. So where were we? Yes. So we were talking about how to win the game of life through these 4 character types. Okay. So the way you win the game of life, the way you do this is step number 1, take your time to learn how to read other people's personality types. Okay. Take your time to read, understand, get better at being quiet, zipping it up, and listening to how people speak. It becomes very clear, especially when you read the book, right? It starts to become very clear very quickly. Oh, that person's the S type. Oh, that person's the D type. Because the language they use will tell, and their body language, even sometimes how they're dressed, will tell you what character type they are, right? And so step number 1 is identify. Identify who you are dealing with. Step 1. This is how you begin by understanding the game, understanding the players, and then winning the game. Once you've identified who you're dealing with, you need to immediately put yourself in their position. Step 2 is empathize. Empathy means to put yourself in the other person's position and see things the way that they see things. see things from their perspective. Empathize. Once you empathize and you're in their shoes, you begin to understand sort of how they want to be spoken to. You begin to understand how they want to communicate and be seen as an individual. They want to be seen. Everyone wants to be seen. And you can only make someone feel seen once you know how they want to be seen. Okay? So step number 2 is empathize. Identify who you're dealing with, step 1, then empathize with them and really ingrain yourself and get yourself into their shoes. Then you'll begin drawing dots, making connections X, Y, and Zing with them without them even knowing. You're already inside their head and you're understanding and breaking things down based on what they're speaking about and based on you being now in their shoes. Okay? So once you identify and you empathize, you then want to begin communicating or communicate, right? You want to communicate. Now what you're doing is you're actually engaging with the individual based on the things that you now know that they want, based on what they've told you, based on their character type. You start to communicate in their language. You're almost mirroring their personality type. Maybe even mirroring is a better word, because what you're doing is you've identified who they are, you've empathized with them, then all you're doing is reflecting and mirroring. If they're a C type, you become a C type. If they're an S type, you become an S type. If they're an I type, you become an I type. Same as for all 4 of them. Because what you want to do is you want to make them feel comfortable that they're speaking to someone like them. They are seeking likeness. They are seeking to be seen. So if you can position yourself as their friend in terms of, I'm like you, I get the world the way you get the world, you will find yourself being able to demand things from them. You'll find yourself being able to say, hey, let's go do this. And they're like, yeah, sure. Because what you've done is you've won their trust. From a psychological level, you've won their trust in terms of, this person's like me. We're going to get on great. That's the vibe you're going for, right? So identify, empathize, and mirror, right? Or communicate, but you're mirroring, you're giving back to them who they are as an individual. Okay? And then the 4th and final step, this is very crucial. This 4th step of this process in terms of how to win the game of life when you're building relationships is, without this step, it's pointless. Okay? That step is pointless. It's sort of broken down a little bit into 2. Part A of step 4 is to make sure you have the end goal in mind. What is it that you're trying to actually achieve with this person? If you don't know what it is that you're trying to achieve, you're just sitting here trying to influence people going nowhere, makes no sense. It's pointless, it's a waste of time, right? So part A is to have the end goal in mind. Where do you want this relationship to go? How important is this relationship to you? That will determine how much effort and time you put into the relationship and do this process, right? Part B of step 4 is make sure you have good intentions. If you do not have good intentions when you're using this very powerful strategy that the elite people use, if you do not have good intentions, it will backfire on you. And the universe will basically just balance things out. So if you've got bad intentions and you're using a strategy to manipulate people, or when I say manipulate, that's such a loaded word. Like manipulate can be for good as well as bad, but everyone uses it in like a bad way. But basically, if your goal is to do harm to someone, and you use this elite strategy to do harm to someone, then the universe will balance out, and it will backfire onto you. So if you're looking for that pain from the universe, then like that's your decision. But I can't control that. But what I can say is, part A is have the end goal in mind, and part B, make sure that it is positive and you're influencing for the right reasons. Okay. Whew. Very good, very good. And let me give you one example of how I think that's actually what I was speaking about. I want to give you one example of how I used it immediately with my business partner. That's what I wanted to get back to as well. So, with my business partner, I started to analyze how I spoke with her. I realized, for example, one very clear example is I realized that in business meetings, right, when we're having business meetings, just her and I, or with the team, whatever, I would say to her stuff like, so, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think we should do this, or do you think we should do that? What do you think about this next move, this client, this project? What do you think? Tell me what you think. right? That's what I was like. Now, the reason why I was using the word think is because without this knowledge, like before I read the book, without this knowledge, I'm a C type. I didn't know I was a C type, but the way I see the world is through thinking and logic and rationality and philosophy and black and white. And this is how I see the world. So when I'm communicating without this knowledge, when I'm communicating like I'm speaking to myself. I'm doing step 3, which is the mirroring before I've identified who I'm speaking to and empathize with them. Do you get it? So I was already at step 3, mirroring. I was like speaking to them, but how I want to be spoken to. What do you think? If I'm in a business meeting with anyone and they turn around to me and ask me, how do you feel about anything? I'm walking out the room. I'm joking. I'm not walking out the room. But do you get the point? I'm not interested in, I'm not, I don't see the world through feelings. And so if someone says to me, how do you feel about this next business decision? I'm going to choke up a bit and be like, I'd even say, for example, I'll tell you what I think. I'm not too sure how I feel, but I'll tell you how I think. We're both speaking the same language. And so that's what I did with my business partner. Because I realized she was an S type from the book, and they're all about emotions and feelings and being in alignment with their values and all of this incredible stuff. I'm like, oh, from now on, it's very simple. I'm going to ask my business partner, how do you feel about everything? That's what I did. And it had a massive shift in our relationship. Her answers became more distinctive. The way she expressed herself became more light and more open and more creative. She became more creative. She expressed herself like she had more space. It was freaking weird. Just by changing one word from "Hey, what do you think?" to "Hey, how do you feel about this decision, about this project, about this client, about this next move?" She was able to connect and understand exactly what I was asking her and actually deliver so much more value. That is the power of understanding the personality types that you're playing with in this game, identifying them, empathizing with them, mirroring with them, and having the right intent with them. This is how you win the game of life. Full stop. That's it. That's the meaning of life. Not joking. That's not the meaning of life. We'll get to that in another video. But that is how you win the game of life. So we are now going to jump into part 4, the blueprint. Yesterday, hopefully you guys downloaded the first document of the year. Every 7 days, you get a brand new document on this channel completely for free. And the idea is that you download it, you gain access to it, you use it, it elevates you. You write in the comments or DM me or email me, whatever's best for you. Tell me what effect it had on you. Tell me what the document meant to you, how it affected you. Did it generate the results that you needed? Let me know so I can tweak things, edit things, make things better if need be, so we can help more people together, okay? So every week we get a document, you get a document, and yesterday was the first document that you guys got. So today we're starting a brand new document. I am buzzed. I will catch you in part 4, blueprint. Wow, wow, wow. Part 4, the blueprint. I am buzzed. I am absolutely buzzed to show you guys what we're doing here for this second document of the year. This document absolutely changed my life in 2023. So I used it in 2023 for half the year. I used it throughout all of 2024. And now I'm going to kick its ass in 2025. This document today that I'm showing you guys is going to be the habit tracker. I call it the identity tracker 2025 because these habits that I'm tracking every single day, these habits actually build my character, build who I am as an individual. So I'm calling it the identity tracker 2025 this year. But last year, I called it the peak performance tracker. And in 2023, I called it the habit tracker. So habit tracker, peak performance tracker, now is the identity tracker. So you guys are getting the best version of this document, okay? This is 3 years in the making, 2023, 24, and now 2025. So let's jump in. Do not get overwhelmed, okay? we don't do overwhelm here. I'm joking, we do. I've got your back. If you get overwhelmed, I've got your back, don't worry. But basically, what when I share my screen, there's a lot of boxes and a lot of things going on. I'm gonna simplify it all down for you so that it all makes sense. But don't get overwhelmed, okay? Stay with me. We're gonna jump in. Ready? Let's do the screen share. Awesome. So, guys, this is the habit tracker 2025. So as you can see here, all of these boxes are all of the habits that I complete on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So what this means is if we zoom in, right, let's get rid of some of these boxes and let's just look at January as well. Brilliant. So if we zoom in, what we can see here is all of the habits that I'm tracking. Okay. I think I mentioned this to you guys in one of the other videos that it's like, if I do the habit, I get a tick. I call it a tick sheet sometimes when I'm just speaking like really quickly about it. If I do the habit, I get a tick. If I do not do the habit, I get a red box. Okay. So at the beginning of the year, I was obviously setting up like all my documents. I was a little bit late this year, so I was setting up my year actually in the first week of the year. Normally, obviously, I do it in December, but so the first week of the year, there's no results. In the second week of the year, this is where I begin tracking all of my habits. But what sort of habits are we talking about here? So we've got unplug. So I call waking up unplug, right? Unplug is sort of like I've been charging the whole night, then I unplug and I'm alive, I'm active, right? Notice, by the way, the C-type tendencies in what I do and how I build things, right? So we aren't going to go through every single one, but I'm just going to show you the ones that we have here. So I'm just going to show you sort of what I mean in terms of habit tracking. So if you add it all up, as you can see down here at the bottom, there's 32 habits that I track every single day. 32 habits. This is the lifestyle of an elite individual. People love the end goal. People love all of the success. People are jealous of the success when you get there. But what people are not is people are not jealous of the process. When I'm driving my sports car, when I'm moving how I'm moving, when I'm in the circles that I'm circling in, people are jealous of that. But what people are not jealous of is when I show them, for example, my habit tracker, how I build my identity, how I build my character. They're not jealous of that. They're like, oh, that looks tough, or that looks overwhelming, that looks a bit, you know what I mean? And so this is where unsuccessful people drop off, because they want the outcome without the process. They want the end goals without the steps, right? These are the steps that elite people take. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll just give you a few examples of things that I track. So for example, did I wake up on time? Doing my nature walks, walking in nature, my reading, my brain smoothie, my learning, vision board, right? Floativity, my midday walk, whatever. Did I do my 10% savings? So when I received money, did I save 10%? Did I go for my nighttime walk, reading, right? This sort of stuff. Did I plug in? Did I go to bed on time? So these are the sorts of things that we're tracking. Now, in the next session, this session is just to introduce the document, right? In the next session, we're going to break down this in a lot more detail. However, I want to show you, for example, week one. So in week one for me, which is the 6th of January to the 12th of January in week one, as you can see, what happens is throughout the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm ticking everything, right? I'm ticking everything. If for whatever reason the tick isn't due for that day, then it gets like a line because there's nothing that happens for that on that day, or for whatever reason, right? If I miss it, you get like a red box. Okay, so then you tick and you get red boxes throughout the week. At the end of the week, you then get a score. So on Monday, I got 24 ticks, 23. It shows you what you got on Saturday, 15, and it shows you, it calculates for you what you missed. At the end of each day, you get a score. So when people ask me, how was your day? Pierre, how was your day today? I don't say, it was good. It was all right. It was great. Thanks. Like I'm not speaking in that language. When they ask me, how was your day? For example, how was your day on Wednesday? I say, yeah, it was a 9.6. They look at me a little bit crazy. What do you mean it was 9.6? What the frick does that mean? Right. They look at me like a little bit crazy. I don't tell them what I do. I'm just saying, it was a really good day. It was a 9.6. I rated it like a 9.6. So they're like, okay, cool. Like you rate your days like that. That's pretty cool. But they don't understand that I actually rate my days based on how I performed, and the rating is actually given to me. I'm not even giving the rating myself. However I perform that day, that is the rating of the day, right? And lo and behold, when I get 10 out of 10 days, like I did on Monday, when I get 10 out of 10 days, I have fantastic, phenomenal days. If I get like a 7 or a 6.5 day, I've normally had a bad day. So this document actually is able to track and keep is able to like observe how your days went, and it's able to actually let you know you had a pretty good day today or you didn't have a really good day today, did you? It tells you. Really, it tells you how your day went for you, right? So 9.6, for example, on Wednesday. So that's what happened at the end of that week for all those days. And then it gives you an overall score for the week. So I got, out of all of my ticks, I got, which is 156 ticks for this week, I got 142 of them, and I missed 14 ticks. I missed 14 habits. So that works out to be a score of 91%, which is a 9.1 out of 10. Okay, or 91%, whatever you want to look at. So then at the bottom, it gives you the whole month, like how it's going. Obviously, we've not finished January yet. So that's why it's at 29% down here. But essentially, it'll then give you the whole month as well. So we are going to get into this document throughout this week. You know how it works. I break down the document throughout the whole week. Then you get to download it at the end. So this is just an intro showing you the document that we're going to be smashing out of the park this this week. And that actually wraps up part 4. Whew, absolutely incredible. So I don't know what happened in today's video. I think it's because this is the first time I'm recording in my office space where I live. So where I live, we have these office spaces, right? I've had meetings here with Finders Force, incredible meetings here. So this is one of our office spaces. So I think because I'm using this space to record today, I am completely forgetting that I need to look at the camera and not at myself. So I do think for this whole video, I've been looking at myself. I apologize. I think it's because I'm checking to make sure everything's okay. And I haven't like made a mistake or done something silly, so that the video is as good as it can be for you guys. But I then, as a result, I forgot to look at the camera. So bear with me. Some days, I think maybe once or twice a week, I'll be here. I'll get more comfortable. It'll be okay. And one day, I will only ever look at the camera. So incredible. Guys, let me know in the comments, how was today's video? Did you get the value? Do you now understand how to influence people and win the game of life through understanding the players that you're playing with? My name is Pierre Yamfam. This is Get Out of Your Way. And I really do think we figured this one out. I will catch you in tomorrow's video. Peace. Peace.